Okay, welcome to the November 4th regular meeting in the town of Neepawa. Our first order of business is to approve the agenda. So be it resolved that we hereby approve the regular meeting agenda November 4th, 2025, moved by Deputy Mayor Parrott, seconded by Councillor Sisley. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, next, everybody, the minutes were sent out. Be it resolved that we hereby approve the minutes of the regular meeting held October 21st, 2025, moved by Councillor Nadeau, seconded by Councillor Kostanchuk. Any questions on the minutes? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, we have a few minutes here before the public hearing, so we'll have a couple of council reports. Anyone?
I have a very brief one.
Okay.
Just that the Neepawa Health Action Committee, we met last week to make plans for 2026. We will have our second annual healthcare worker appreciation barbecue, but we will also have some other events as well. That will be.
Okay. Good. Okay, thanks, Yvonne. Deputy Mayor Parrott.
Okay, Arts Forward received the From Ground Up grant towards the community art initiatives. The first of which will be the Light the Downtown light display. They also received a grant from the Brandon Area Community Foundation for a much needed furnace replacement. Locally, we had our Public Works meeting to prepare for next year's projects and equipment needs for our budget purposes. And we did a walkthrough at our clinic, our medical clinic with the building inspector and structural engineer to prepare for the renovations, allowing for 4 more doctors to practice in Neepawa. 8 examination rooms will be created, and we anticipate construction in the spring. 45.
Okay, I guess we have time for another one. Councillor Nadeau.
I'll use up your other time. Okay, I only have one committee to report on, the Rossburn Subdivision Trail Association. I'll get the auctioneer voice going here. Okay, no, some really important information that you guys need to know. So Trails Manitoba now is looking to help support our insurance. It doesn't mean we won't have to have insurance for the trail, but they're going to be doing like a full inspection of all the bridges across all their trail systems. So that's really good to help make sure that everyone's covered, right? We rent our TIC. We go to TIC and we rent a tractor, and so Neepawa gets some business, which is nice, and the tractor goes all the way from here, over 179 kilometers of trail to the Saskatchewan border, basically. But we figured out now from using the tractor that it's actually over 200 kilometers of trail, because we've got these offshoots, right around the on and all in different spots all along the trail. So 200 kilometers of beautiful trail that we get to have access to. And one thing I came aware of is our trail system is accessing an ORV grant. You can get up to $50,000. That's an off-road vehicle grant for the trail system. And that's something that maybe we can consider here if the town here can look at that. We can get up to $50,000, and they're really awarding everyone that almost applies, it sounds like. So it's really a grant to help support our trail system within Neepawa too. We've talked before at repairing our stairs too. I think we can apply for a grant that can help repair our stairs and cover the cost for that. And that off-road vehicle grant, just so you guys know, it's actually 100%. It's not matching. Whereas the grant we apply for with the trails would be like a 50-50 thing. So that could be really beneficial to us. We were talking about a tree program. Not sure if we're accessing this one. There's a few that we do. Planting Trees for Tomorrow program, it's called. So we're seeing a lot of municipalities around us use that. And our AGM It's set to start in March this year, so March 2026. And that's everything.
Good, thanks, Jason. Okay, at this time, we will move into our public hearing. Okay, be it resolved that we do now open the public hearing to hear representation to the creation of new public roads within Phase 1 of Project 320 under subdivision application 4437-25-8766 of the town of Neepawa. Moved by Deputy Mayor Parrott, seconded by Councillor Sisley. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, Colleen?
So later in your agenda, you're going to review the subdivision application for 58 acres within our Project 320. Before you can review that though, you have to have a public hearing when there is roads created, new roads created under that subdivision. So this particular subdivision file, 4437-25-8766, in respecting a 58-acre subdivision in the east half of section 321415 in the town of Neepawa, and is going to create several new roads being called Crescent, Harris Avenue, McKay Crescent, Gossel Avenue, Fusey Avenue, and then Murphy Way, and of course Gill Drive will be restructured a little bit to go from PDH 5 to 16. So there is a map that was available, for people to look at. We did circulate this into, as required under the Planning Act, to everybody within 100 meters of this, or 100 meters. Yes, that's right. And I've received nothing back to date, unless there's somebody present here who would like to speak on this.
Right. Is there anyone in our large audience that's interested in discussing anything? Jason, did you have any concerns?
I'm just wondering.
Come up to the chair.
This chair here.
Yeah.
Sure.
I was just curious. I couldn't quite understand the map 110%, I guess.
Okay.
So I was just wondering what the roadway behind the trees is going to look like, or if it's going to be a road or a back alley, or.
So the gravel road right now that's directly behind your property will remain a road. That will be, technically that's Gill Drive, but that's going to be renamed to Murphy Way. It will be finished to a paved portion, curb and gutter, all that stuff at this point. So it'll be a street. Main traffic will, instead of going down that section, we will be directing it straight north. So Gill Drive will extend past your property instead of having it, so that property behind you will have a stop sign, so that no one can zip around. Like right now, everyone kind of maybe takes that corner a little fast because there's no one there. That'll become a controlled stop sign there. Everyone else will have improved sight lines, drainage improvements, street light improvements, everything that we'd expect on a modern subdivision.
That was my only main concern, is that it wasn't going to be like a back alley, I guess.
Yeah, no.
So if-
No, yeah, that wouldn't be the intent on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we opted to keep that one open, just in the event that any of the properties along that south side ever subdivided, they needed access to our road.
Mhm.
So we had options to close that road, but we left them as an opening because there's a water main through there, but also again for the possibility of properties fronting that.
Okay,
That was my concern.
Perfect.
Question.
yeah, good. All right, any question from councilors at all? No, if not,
Just one question.
yeah.
Where'd the names come from?
Past mayors has been what we've been using up until now, so.
Okay.
So I think when we talked about doing the road naming policy last time, you're gonna notice in the schedule in the back, there's actually a list that probably has 5 or 6 names that still exist from previous mayors that, as we grow, are going to get used probably very in the near future here. And hence why we created the street naming policy, to start to understand that You know, we need to see, you know, whether we use trees or flowers or there's something, you know, for the neighborhood or for the general area that is specific to Neepawa that would be an important name, then we can list that on our registration list, so.
Okay, any other questions? If not, be it resolved that we do now adjourn this public hearing at 7:11. Moved by Councillor Kostenchuk, seconded by Deputy Mayor Parrott. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Just checking back around, was there any other council reports? No. Okay, Manager of Operations, Denise.
Thank you, Mayor Headley. So for the last couple weeks, or quite a few weeks, we've been doing yard waste cleanup. This was the last week, so we've posted notifications and we'll hit social media just noting that any other yard waste residents will be responsible for hauling to the compost grounds themselves. Another news, staff, we've done a big training push right now. We have quite a few new staff, so they need to be trained up in some of the distribution and collection courses. So I think we've got 3 for the next 2 weeks taking virtual. And then they're signed up for some other courses throughout the remainder of the year. So we'll have a varying attendance once we have them all gone through that. We've started a big push on budget preparations for next year. Staff have been dealing with some sewer services. There's still a few that have been either coming up with issues that we're still trying to correct, dig, and repair and get them going properly. And obviously we've been getting a lot of winter prep happening. An ongoing visits to the hospital site, so the Hamilton Street Road construction project, it's coming along nicely. There's been a tremendous push on the landscaping portion of the boulevards, so that all of our topsoil stockpiles have pretty much now been depleted. And with this last little bit of dry weather we've had, they've been dozering and, like I said, doing a lot of landscaping, so it's nice. It's good timing because all of our utility companies are showing up on site to start their drilling. We've had Westman and MTS on site last week and this week, doing the final pushes, trying to get some services onto that new hospital. We'll still have to see in a weighted schedule for hydro to show up to see for servicing, but once these boulevards are to a finished stage, then they'll be satisfied to show up too. Yeah, that's gonna run most for the last of our seasonals. I think we have 1 straggler that'll stay till mid-November-ish, but everyone else is pretty much gone.
Yeah. Yeah, and I see the curbing that looks like it got poured today at on Mill.
Yeah, weather pending, we're gonna try to get a few more in yet.
Okay, any questions on Denise? All right, thanks, Denise. On to Colleen with correspondence.
The first one is Rossburn Subdivision Trail Association, and it's just their summary of their fall report, just items they looked after through the year.
Yeah, I actually read through the whole report, and I can say, obviously, our councillor Nadeau is doing a good job. I noticed there was no deficiencies for Neepawa, so.
You know, there actually is one area that we need something. Our sign that is it called a leeward sign? You know, the sign that tells you how far the distances are, just leaving right on Huron Road there. If the town could get a quote for that, we're gonna put it under one of the grants. So it won't cost the town anything. But if we could get a quote, maybe we could ask Provost to do a quote for us or something. I know those signs could be very costly, so that could be included. If I could get that quote as soon as possible too.
No, if there's a grant for it, that would be perfect. Good. Okay.
The next one I have is the Brandon Public Safety Communication Center. This is the, 911 services. So we received the agreement, and the price per capita here would be $5.23, an increase of 20 cents over last year. So $1,137 increase. The 911 services for 2026 will be $29,732.55.
Based on 5685?
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, moving on, we've all received the September financial statement. Any questions on the financial statement? Seeing none, be it resolved that we approve the financial statement for the month ended September 30th, 2025, moved by Councillor Kostenchuk, seconded by Councillor Clark. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, counts here. So these are our accounts for the month. October, be it resolved that we approve the October 2025 list of accounts totaling $2,999,166.86 as reviewed and representing EFT 1588 to 1740, check number 2025-000755 to 2025-000862, but excluding checks 2025-000771, 2025-000809, and 2025-000843. Moved by Councillor Gerard, seconded by Councillor Nadeau. Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, so Councillor Gerard and I will excuse ourselves due to conflict.
Okay, be it resolved that we approve checks 2025-000771 and 2025-000809 and 2025-000843 for October 2025 to Home Hardware and Neepawa Gladstone Co-op totaling $17,191.04. Moved by Marika and Jason. All those in favor? Carried. I'll let you read it.
Oh, sorry, it's personnel.
Oh.
Colleen, I don't see any unfinished business, but new business.
So the first item of new business is our subdivision 4437-25-766. And this is a resolution that, following up on our public hearing, which we had just a few minutes ago, if you're in agreement to approve the creation of those new public roads.
Any questions? We've only been going over this for how many years? So. Be it resolved that we approve the creation of new public roads proposed under subdivision application 4437-25-8766 within the Northeast 321415 Phase 1 of Project 320. Moved by Councillor Gerard, seconded by Councillor Sisley. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And I guess this is part 2 of that. Be it resolved that we have...
Don't maybe give you a little summary first.
Oh, okay, sure.
So just to summarize before our mayor heads into the resolution, we submitted a subdivision application in July to Community and Regional Planning. We received back the results of the circulation. This proposed multi-lot subdivision in the town of Neepawa intends to create 197 new residential lots and public reserve, including lots for single unit and multi-unit development. There are no existing buildings or structures on the property. All of the future lots will be serviced by municipal sewer and water. Access is proposed to be onto municipal roads, possibly existing and new. And of course, we all know we just passed the resolution for new. The property is adjacent to Provincial Trunk Highway number 5, but direct access is not proposed, though current accesses can be expected to be intensified. So the accesses exist both technically onto 16 and 5 already. A new drainage works is proposed and will require a license, and the land in question is adjacent to the local airport. Parts of the land under the zoning bylaw will require a zoning bylaw amendment from an industrial light zone to a residential zone that is appropriate for the density that the particular lot is intended for. And just speaking a little bit more to that, some of the lots clearly do not meet our requirements of our zoning bylaw right now, which is a 50-foot frontage or 4,900 square foot size. And we did that on purpose to densify housing. The amendment that'll go forward will more reflect a 40-foot frontage with an appropriate size of 4,000 square feet. Through the circulation process, there were no objections raised by the various government agencies during that process, but there were some comments. Terranet Manitoba will require a plan of subdivision as is standard. Manitoba Transportation and Infrastructure, we need to provide sufficient information to them that the drainage on the site will not impact the provincial highway drainage system, and they may require a detailed drainage plan prepared by qualified experts. I think in a previous meeting we'd mentioned to you that we actually started working on that drainage plan last year when we proposed this phase 1, so it is well within the parameters of getting closer to being done. We also are required to submit a traffic impact study for this development to MTI, and that traffic impact study actually went into the department probably a month and a half ago, I believe it was. It's currently under review, so that is also almost done. Manitoba Environment and Climate Drainage and Water Rights Licensing Branch does not necessarily require a license to construct water control works for the subdivision development unless a class 3, 4, or 5 wetland is impacted or altered. We will be getting hold of the department. They are recommending a wetland assessment to be conducted for the entire property and ensure that no regular wetlands are impacted. We don't think they are. We will have that conversation with them, but if they are making it mandatory for us to do that assessment, we will need to do so. Manitoba Sport, Culture, and Heritage and Historic Branches. This property was identified as a heritage concern, and this was identified at the time we severed off 11 acres of a sliver of property more directly to the north from the owner of the big warehouse. So at that time, knowing this subdivision was going to follow up subsequent to that one, we did the heritage resource impact assessment for this 58 acres at that time. Roughly 100 holes were drilled. We received that report back at the end of last year. There is no concerns there at all. They found literally nothing of historic significance, so that's already done. Manitoba Environment and Climate, Environmental Compliance and Enforcement Branch requires us to confirm that the wastewater treatment facility has the capacity to treat additional wastewater, and we all know that it does, especially since we've gone to a little bit more of a mechanical style in the last number of years, and the idea being that we should be able to accommodate up to 7,500 and even greater population depending on adjustments to the current plant. We need to do easements for West Bend Communications, Manitoba Hydro and Centre Gas, and Bell MTS. That's all standard easements. And of course, the Neepawa Area and Planning District had no concerns and will work with us to make sure that the zoning amendments come through appropriately and we amend our zoning bylaw. We did have to approve the opening of the roads before you can pass the resolution approving this subdivision. We've since done that. And so then the major recommendations, other than resolving most of those things, which you can already tell, we're plowed right through a lot of them, that we continue to get the zoning bylaw amendment in place, and if there are still variance orders required on lots that maybe don't quite meet the 40, because they might be 38 or 39 feet, that we would do some variance amendments to make sure we accommodate those lots as well. So that's the summary. It's a pretty good report, in my opinion.
Okay, any questions with Colleen?
I think it just speaks to when people talk about the community and expansion and development, that there is a process, and whether it be a private investor looking to do a subdivision or the town, I mean, there are the rules of the province that need to be followed, and you just got to be prepared and take the time to take those steps. And thankfully, we're well ahead because with our past expansion, which was called the CN property, well versed on the process that was going to be put in front of us. So, and fantastic work by the administration to make sure that this project is speeding along to meet our critical need for new housing.
Yeah, exactly. Good comments. Okay. Okay, so the resolution reads, be it resolved that we approve subdivision application 4437-25-8766 of the town of Neepawa to subdivide approximately 58 acres for the purposes of creating a proposed multi-lot residential subdivision in the town of Neepawa, subject to meeting all conditions and requirements imposed as a result of the provincial circulation process. Moved by Councillor Clark, seconded by Councillor Costichuk. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Hey Colleen, any more new business?
The last thing we have is a proclamation request for Restorative Justice Week for the week of, no, I don't remember, November 16th to 22nd.
Okay, any questions on that? Okay, whereas the face of crime or conflict, restorative justice offers a philosophy and approach that views these matters principally as harm done to people and relationships, and whereas restorative justice is non-adversarial, non-retributive approach to justice that emphasizes healing in victims, accountability of offenders, and the involvement of citizens in creating healthier, safer communities. And whereas Restorative Justice Week is an opportunity to learn about restorative justice as well as educate and celebrate along with other communities across the country during the week. Therefore, we, the Council of Town of Neepawa and the Province of Manitoba, do hereby proclaim the week of November 16th to the 22nd to be Restorative Justice Week in the town of Neepawa. Moved by Councillor Nadeau, seconded by Councillor Sisley. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, and Councillor Sisley, for other business, we got some community.
Yeah, I have some community announcements or community events. So the first one is the Pathway to Owning Your Own Home workshop and trade show, which will be held on November 22nd at the United Anglican Church. This is a free event with guest speakers and local businesses who can answer any questions you have about owning your own home. Registration is required and there is a free lunch provided, so if you can check out the town's Facebook page for details, and either contact Marilyn Crew or I believe there's the QR code on the Facebook page as well. It'll be easier if you have the poster with the QR code though. There'll be information session from Red River College regarding an English language course for internationally educated nurses. This is a free virtual program to help improve language and communication skills for the workplace and licensing. The info session will be held on November 26th at 6 p.m. at the town office, just to give you the background of that one. And then there will be an information session regarding the medical administration program to be hosted at the Neepawa Training Center in early 2026. If you are interested in this and are wanting more information, please meet with the Assiniboine Community College on December 2nd at noon or 6 p.m. upstairs at the courthouse. And for any of that, any information on any of those programs, you can call Marilyn at the town office.
Excellent. Okay, any other business? Deputy Mayor Parrott.
Yeah, so we had a young lad that grew up in this town. He's now student teaching at HMK with Mrs. Funk in grade 2. At his class, 20 different students, all wrote letters to the town council, and they have received their replies, and I would like to thank them for giving us a grade 2 perspective on what the town needs. Please have more free skating times. Please, people, pick up your trash that you are dropping on the street. Please, can we have more restaurants? And one of the big ones, please, can we have more fairs? And you'll be happy to know that we did let them know that many communities in the surrounding areas have fairs on different weekends so they can attend them all.
And Slurpees.
And Slurpees. So thank you, Mr. Phillips, for making me feel like I'm back in the game.
Okay, thanks, Murray.
And that was 45.
Okay. Okay, so, seeing nothing else, be it resolved that we do now adjourn this, regular meeting at 7:31 PM, moved by Councillor Costichuk, seconded by Deputy Mayor Barrett. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.